Okay, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our virtual education summit of Finance Future, the new topic. And we are presenting now the power of Finnish language and key to the high quality life in Finland. So I like to start also with this presentation of ourselves, of course, that I'm Tane Nguyen. I'm a special education teacher from Finance Future, and I'd like to present you Maze. Please, Maze. Please, can you put the microphone?
Ah, sorry. Hi, my name is May Swedan, and I work at LUT University and University of Applied Sciences as a planning officer for international students.
Okay, nice to have you, Mace, with me today. And today we are talking about very important issues and also topic about the Finnish language and its potential force for the future also. Okay, I think that we don't have much time, but as use as time for dynamic conversations and our topics. So our topics here are today, there's like six of them, but because they're quite big topics, so we're quite going through these topics in the cases of the Finnish language, and also will like to tell about everything about what is important in learning Finnish language and what is the main meaning of purposes of the Finnish language for the future. And I think that these our expertise, because May is very talented and expertise in the university and higher education side, and also I have the uh, quite good possibility to explain more about the high high school education, also elementary, secondary sections. But please, I think that we could go forward with this first topic. So the importance of the Finnish language integration. So this is quite big topic in these
Mhm.
both areas, right, Mace?
Yes, I totally agree.
Yeah, and also this in this case we could talk the whole day about these topics, and
Yeah.
also that how we can tell about more of Finnish language and how it's supposed to support your future life. So in this case, that one good question in this whole this topic is why we're learning Finnish, and of course it affects our future lives. That when we learn
Mhm.
Finnish, what is the meaning of learning Finnish? And the purpose of coming to Finland. So those are the four first questions that we ask ourselves when we learn another foreign language. And of course, we know that. And someone has studied before, of course, that Finnish is not the easiest language, but not the hardest language. But there is some
Mhm.
some
I
issues
totally
about that.
agree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and also the chance of having different life is very very essential in our conversation. What do you think about Mace?
I think you're totally right, but I also think the way you approach the idea of why are we going to learn Finnish is I love that you started with that actually because a lot of international students keep saying that, especially in the technical field, for example, from our university, that we speak a language everybody speaks, which is the language of technology, or like Finnish language is only spoken in Finland. So it's a lot big commitment to learn the language. But if you look at it from the perspective of that the Finnish job market will require that, but also it will open for you a lot of doors in the international market as well. I think it's worth investing time and energy in, not only from the professional perspective, but also from personal perspective. It can influence a lot on your daily life as well.
Yeah, exactly. And
Mhm.
you mentioned right that information that the Finnish is just small country in Europe. We're about 5.7 million right now, so it's not quite much if we comparing the other countries. And also, what is the quality? And what is the purpose for coming to Finland, to the place of cold and place of like a little bit anxiety, if the funniest
Mhm.
part of this story, of course, and also there's other things. But that is makes us right that Finland has to offer many things in the future, and also the possibility of changing life. And the purpose of coming Finland has, I think that each of us has their own purpose. So we don't can't like talking about the universal purpose, but everyone has one single thing in his or her life that counts on the coming to Finland and wants to do something in Finland. So there's many other options what you can do in Finland.
Yes, and I think also, even if you're here for the majority of your degree, let's say that you are going to spend your time in Finland, I mean, like 4 to 6 years, let's say, or 2 years even for a master's is a very long time. And don't you just want to be a part of the society that is around you, making friends? Also, statistically proven, a lot of the students want to stay in Finland, about 78% of them, and only 10% is on the edge. So we are talking about almost 90% of the people who are coming to Finland who want actually either contemplating or for sure want to stay in Finland. So the all of the resources, I think, and all of the effort that is poured into this pot of learning Finnish language is totally worth it.
Yeah, exactly. I also
Mhm.
agree with those because that was very essential thinking of people that coming from the another aspect or another environment to Finland, and that's we have the possibility of talking about the of course of the employment and career opportunities. So there are many possibilities to create own purpose of life in Finland,
Mhm.
and I think that Mace, you have the best expertise in explaining how about, for example, in career and higher education can combine together.
Yes, I think I can speak from this on more than one perspective, which is like my own personal, of course, as someone who has built their career in Finland, and I didn't work before coming to Finland, so I built my career here. But also the second aspect is I worked at the government, so I could see the legislation part of it. But also now, as a university career counselor, counseling is a big part of my tasks at the moment. So I can see also the struggle of how to build a career in Finland from the professional perspective. When it comes to language, I would say it will be with you in all of the stages of looking for a job. That's with complete honesty. A big part of being an international in Finland, and it's a fact that 80% of the jobs in Finland are hidden jobs. It doesn't mean that they are like kept away from internationals. No, everybody who's trying to find a job, either whether they're international or Finnish, they will have to go through this process, is because the Finnish job market is built in a way that is very bureaucratical. So things has to go in certain way, and employers most likely are going to try to find the talent that is going to fill the position through networking. So they will ask internally, do you know someone? If they cannot find, they will ask, do you someone know someone? If not, they will look in open applications, and if not, then at the end it will go as an open application. So the jobs that we are actually seeing on job platforms are only a very, very small amount of the jobs that are available at the moment. So how do we break into this realm of hidden jobs is basically through networking. And networking, you're going to need language. And I always joke with my students about that, and I tell them like networking is like professional flirting. So there is this awkwardness aspect of it, but still like you want to do it, you don't want to do it. So it's a set of skill. It's gonna take a bit of a while for you to build the skill and to break the barrier of being shy to network.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
once you uh, show the ability that you want to learn, I think it's enough at the very beginning. I know a lot of people are very scared of approaching employers because they don't speak very well Finnish, but employers as well don't wait for you at the moment to be fully fluent in Finnish. They are going to seek an attitude, they are going to seek a potential as well. So if you have started learning Finnish and you are not shy to use the few words that you learned here and there, you're gonna learn through working. A lot of the language you're gonna get through internships, through getting your first, for example, your first job in Finland. So I don't think there is such a thing that I learned Finnish and I'm ready to apply for a job. I think you need to. It's a process, and you have to be ready for some rejections, ready for some awkwardness, and after that, it will open a lot of doors for you, and for
yeah,
you by me by
exactly.
an opportunity for people who are applying for jobs. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Mace. Those are very, very important aspect of the employment and career opportunities in Finland. And I also agree because living in Finland and also all this career and employment thing is wrapped around the language. So with the language, we have all the opportunities because language in all the aspects, wherever you go, for example, other countries of the own language of that country is wrapped on the whole society, whole in the career system, whole the employment, and all the like social environments and interactions. So
Mm,
learning, for example, staying in Finland, want to have a future in Finland, focus on learning a language and understand language and use this language, of course. So those are
yes.
very, very quite like normal thing we can think,
Mm,
because sometimes we can like think that okay, I'm here in my own country, I can speak my own country language and home language or native language or mother tongue or whatever in this case. So you can have that, but for example, change it another environment. So of course we supposed to learn that language, but this is not like just like as you may say that I know I have studied Finnish language, I'm ready to apply for job. Yes, you can do that,
mm,
but
yes.
there's some more in that. So for example,
Mm,
networking, as you said, and because I have lived my whole life in Finland from the 2.5 years old when I came to Finland first time, so I went all the education system, all the like you normal like Finnish citizen can
mm,
go in the same path. And I understood quietly that the language is one quite enormous thing, because
mm,
that is only way you can communicate with others, only way you can tell about yourself to others, only way to demonstrate your skills to another people. So that is
exactly.
one. So
Mm,
those are the aspects that we are using our all the possibilities. And for example, the students who are coming to high school in Finland or vocational school in Finland, you have the opportunity, you have the future on your hands, on your palms, that you can modify, you can change it for you what you like with the language, because there's many people coming from abroad to Finland, for example, the CEOs, they are managers, they have like higher education degrees on several and various of areas. And
mm,
they come to apply in job in Finland, but of course they their capability and the possibility to speak is mostly English, of course, when you came abroad. So they are just obtaining and applying for the job and using English. But if they happen to know Finnish, if they have the networking when you come younger in Finland and you have made friends and you know how the Finnish society works and you know how the administration works, and you can like fluently go like fish in the ocean, you can participate in different kind of volumes and different kind of directions, and also you can make connections. Those are remarkably important issues
mm,
for in cases that you can find someone, because I have like of course studied higher education, and there have like been many occasions to have a job opportunity just like knowing people from others,
yes,
just like me
that's
talk
totally
about.
true. And I
Yeah.
think also like employers don't look only for your degree, because we will face it, everybody kind of, most of the people here in Finland are highly educated. So yes, your education matters, and yes, your work experience matters, but also your employer is looking for a set of skills. They are looking for personality, they're looking for a teammate, and how to articulate this in a language that both of you kind of understand. I think language would be so lovely here in this aspect, to show you're willing to learn and to, to join the team. I think I come from a background that is a bit more less privileged when it comes to language, because I came 10 years ago, and I didn't have an opportunity to join Finnish language courses because the system was different back then, and I was international student and I had kids also, so it was very difficult for me to join Finnish language courses, but I still learned Finnish myself. So I always tell, like, if I can do it, you can do it, trust me. It's all about just finding something you love and listen to the language through that thing that you love, and giving yourself, be kind to yourself as well, because some of us speak 3, 4 languages, and they come here to learn like their fourth language. So being also like kind to yourself in that aspect, and giving yourself the opportunity to learn and make mistakes. I trust me, I have made very embarrassing mistakes when it comes to Finnish language, and I can tell also a lot of stories about these mistakes, and I learned so much of them, and they are always like faced with good humor. Like, I know Finnish people can sometimes seem reserved, but actually, if you come in contact and open up to them, they are so happy to teach you all the slang words, all the words in your field, also career wise, that can help you move forward. So I think it's attitude. Attitude is the thing that, and it doesn't go there's like this all the time. You are going to go down and up and down and up in this process. So staying kind to yourself and motivated is very important.
Yes, thank you, Mace. And the attitude is very, very valued aspect in this our next slide. So we're talking about cultural understanding and participation. So this comes in our mind that the question that why we are going to the country where is introverts, for example. And these are stereotypes that we have commonly agreed with the Finnish people, and we know that, for example, Finnish people are shy and they have own private space. And last COVID time, we have already prepared for this because we don't like to see other people. So
Mhm.
these are the stereotype of Finnish people. But I know that Mace, somehow you accept, but somehow you know that it's not whole truth. So
Yeah, that's
so
true. But also, it's funny because we had like a conference last week, and you had to list one of your superpowers, kind of. And I couldn't think of anything other than, like, I'm an extrovert in Finland, so I think that's one aspect of it. But being an introvert also can be also a superpower, because you're gonna find a lot of people to find
yeah.
something in common with. And here, I think the part of participation is very important, because you're going to need a context. I
Mm.
made, like, back in my home country, I made most of my friends by just complimenting their outfit or something, and then we become friends. But it's not as easy, for example, in the Finnish culture. You need a context. You need, for example, a hobby or a class, or you need to be present somewhere where you have
Mm.
something in common to open a discussion about, and then friendship blossoms after that. And that I learned the hard way. I would say that yes,
Yeah,
you need
yeah, yeah,
you need a context. That's why if you're a bit active in the things that you enjoy and like, and start to look for, like my students, for example, I try my best to push them into continuing the hobbies that they like, for example, here, because it's easier for you to seek familiarity and to talk about something you love and to learn the vocabulary about something you love.
yeah,
So
yeah.
that's where participation helps a lot.
Yeah, that is true, and also the even we have other thoughts about Finnish people. But when you come to Finland and when you have lived in Finland, you know what we are talking about in the right way. So, as May said, that extroverts is one good, very good ability to make connections, and also Finnish people, as you know, the stereotypes are like introverts. But I can say that both of those are superpowers, as May
Mhm.
also tell, because the Finnish society and how the Finnish people live and work and have social lives, it depends on quite many situations, also the possibilities. For example, in cases that extroverts, as me and also Mace, we are like putting things together, like when we meet each other or we meet other our colleagues or friends, we are quite like they think, and we want to be like having conversation, we want to bring out ourselves, and that's okay. And that's one way that Finnish people really like also, even they're introverts or even they're a little bit shy, but they really like the extroverts. They really
Mhm. That's
like
true.
to have the conversation, and they see that okay, you are like this one, and they accept this, and that's okay for everyone also. Another way, for example, introverts, if we categorize this way, or well, I don't really like categorizing, but in this way,
We can be
so
both at certain
yeah,
times.
yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. So introvert is like having own space. So like having own time for own doing, we could do use something. So also, for example, there's some jobs, for example, or some assignment that have to be done alone. So those are times that we can use for ourselves, and also we can like adjust ourselves to this different path of the
Yeah.
working style or study style. So those are just one of the aspects that humanity
Yes.
has. So
Mm.
that's why I also agree with Mate that those both are superpowers, and also both are acceptable. And you don't need
Yes.
to have to be extrovert. You don't need to have to be introvert. You can be both. So there's a one term coming up
Yeah.
also, ambivert. Yeah. so,
Mhm.
so those are like you are going outside and you're feeling quite good. You want to speak to people, but when you go home, when you like go back
Recharge.
home, yeah, recharge, exactly. So those are the things what we can do. So we have many possibilities, and cultural understanding comes with the time. So of course, when
And
you
it
come to
comes with
Finland,
breaking the international bubble as well. Like I always
exactly.
tell students that it's okay once you come to Finland, you look for some commonality and familiarity because it's safe, it's human nature. But then take your bubble with you somewhere and go enjoy student events, enjoy things with your bubble because it's it's hard to show up alone, for example, to an event. So that's where it comes in handy.
Yes, so the bubbles are the topic also. So, and also when we call the bubbles, we are going to social interaction relationships. So as we mentioned with Maze before, those are in, for example, in the case you go into some meeting, for example, or you have the group assignment and nobody wants to talk or wants to do anything. So if you take, for example, if you take just beginning sentence from starting something, so you can see that people around are you talking about the same issue. So we have different kind of attitudes, we have different kinds of personalities, and those are the
Mhm.
strengths. So even in Finland they have like various, as we can go everywhere in the planet. So the social interactions are really really important, and what are related in the language aspect is that we have to communicate, and that is one way we can like foresee things and also forward in the things we want to do. So the social interactions are the basic line of our life also, and relationships. Even there's like thinking about 20, 30 years ago, as Mace, you know, also know that the thinking was when you go after the education, higher education, for example, you get a job and you go to the one room and you work there for the rest of your life alone. So that is not true, because nowadays working culture is more collaborative. So it's
Mhm.
not doing yourself. So even there's a possibility that okay, I don't like to meet people, I don't like to do work with people, but that is like old model, and nowadays models we have to collaborate. So the collaboration is not an option, it is mandatory. So that's why the social interaction relationships are quite important. But of course there's time for yourself, and of course the time for own doing. So I think that Mace have some ideas about also that how
Mhm.
relationships works on the working area, for example.
I totally agree, and I think you have touched upon a topic of like if there is awkward silence, there isn't such an awkward silence in Finland if they enjoy silence, but still, if you feel awkward, and I think language would be your key here. Like you can start, for example, practicing some more Finnish words in that aspect, but meaningful networking happens in social contexts. I think that's the best way to describe it. And I can confidently say that most of the jobs that I worked in came from social interactions and through just connecting with people over language, over something we are all under the umbrella of. So I wouldn't be worried, honestly, as long as you are not staying in one place, that you are not going to find your own people. But as a student, I think is the sweet spot is that you're a student, so you're gonna find your kind of people that are sharing with you the student space, but also Finnish students, student life is something that is not very common for people who comes from another culture. That's why I think it's very important for you also to just explore that aspect.
Yeah.
And trust me, it's more fun than it seems. And I know it becomes maybe intimidating a bit because you're from the outside. But as I said, power in group, take your friends and go listen to some Finnish language in social context because it helps a lot as well in professional contexts.
Yeah, exactly. The student school life is more than you can imagine. It's quite different, but it's very, very interesting part of your life, and will be on also in Finland. So, and also when we talk about everyday life and public services in Finland, so we have to understand also that what possibilities we have and what we can do in our everyday life in Finland, and also that links to the quite important things that what is, for example, services in Finland, and all these services or the everyday life interactions are involved in language, of course. So we know
Mm.
also that in Finland, people, of course, know how to speak English. And for example, that's funny part that, for example, they seeing, for example, Mace or me. Usually, I think that also, for example, I'm going to the outside and uh, probably people are speaking with me in English, because they don't tend to think that I'm the Finnish speaking person, and
Mm.
that is one part of the Finnish culture in right now, because Finland is not for the history of the past and how the immigrants or foreign people are coming to Finland. So this is not the old thing. This is quite new thing.
Yeah.
So that is
And
just
I think
understandable.
also they do it sometimes. Sorry, I think
Yeah,
also they do it out of respect or like being nice. Like they want you to understand.
yeah,
I don't think they do it because like, oh, you look foreign and I'm sure you
yeah,
don't speak Finnish.
yeah.
But it becomes back to your, like the ball comes back to your court, and then you can surprise them with a few Finnish words that you know.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah.
Exactly, and you also you can change the language to the Finnish, and you can also continue with English, but that is not that is not like the negative point. That is like the thinking that nowadays we have, but also you can show and we can show that what happens to foreign people coming to Finland and learning Finnish language, and then when it's used to come to the point that everyone knows, understands, so we have the possibility to change the future. So this is also changing the future and certain aspect of thinking. And for example, in my cases, for in everyday lives, that sometimes that people come to me say that when I'm speaking back to Finnish to them, they say that, oh, you speak too well Finnish.
Yeah.
And also I'm thanking them about that saying, but they really don't know that my native language is Finnish. So we have, of course, the different kind of situation, but the language is the key to everyday life and the public services in
And,
Finland. So
and this is where integration happens. It's in your daily life. Nobody wakes up in the morning and be like, today is a good day for me to integrate into the Finnish language. I think it's like you integrate in your daily life every day. Like I can even sometimes think about places where I learned certain words, like gloves, for example, for kids. This lapaset. Like I can always remember where I learned this word or where I learned that word, and it's from daily life.
yeah,
It's not from, yes, you learn a lot, and I also encourage joining classes, and now there are a lot of sophisticated Finnish language courses, not as in 10 years. I can see the difference.
yeah,
But also, it's good to take it out of the classroom and use it in everyday life. And when it comes to public services, you're going to have an advantage, as honest as possible, if you learn few words in Finnish, like if you get familiar. And in job market as well, like what I encourage my students is to get their eyes a bit used to what are you going to be when you grow up, kind of in Finnish. So they can also look for jobs in Finnish, because if they are planning to stay in Finland, this is a skill that they need to also develop in the future.
exactly. So we are talking talking about the whole topic in this case, the learning language and its positive effects. So there are quite many of these, and also the integrations and the values, of course, and in the everyday life, and also the education and the career and job opportunities. So the language is involved in everything. So we can think that English is one common language in the world, but in Finland, it has a natural and special effect in all day our life. So I think that for these aspects and for these thoughts about the Finnish language are quite essential in this life in Finland.
Yes, and I think it will gain you access to the aspect that most people want to know about a different culture. Like I wouldn't know, for example, certain things about the Finnish culture unless I know what they mean in Finnish or how to ask about them in Finnish. And I think positive effects will show many aspects of your life once you start learning the language. And as I said, I know from myself, like I worked fully in Finnish sometimes. Now is the first time I use English as my work language. Before I only fully worked in Finnish, and trust me, it's not perfect at all. I made many mistakes, and even in academical context, but still trying and learning is very respectable. And just hold yourself high and try, even if it's not perfect, still it's gonna progress along the way.
Yeah, and those are very meaningful words, Mace, and I also agree with those because they are like thinking about the foreign people coming to Finland and learning language. So the basic line is language is the key for everything we do in Finland, and those aspects are very worth to prove and also tell about.
Mm.
Okay, and for me, myself, and Mace, we are very happy to have this time with you and also tell about the possibility and also the key aspects of Finnish language in the future life in Finland. And we hope also all the best for you and the future life in these topics. Thank
Thank
you.
thank you very much, and also on my behalf.
Okay, bye bye.